Hey everyone, Cassie here. Welcome back for another video here on my YouTube channel. Today we have the Pink and Main March 2022 card kit called Black Tie Party, and I'll have it linked down below. It is a goodie, and I'll also have the unboxing link down below if you missed that. To start, I went ahead and stamped out all of my images, colored them, die cut them so that we can get right into card making. Our first card is going to be a flat shaker card, and I'm kind of obsessed with these lately. So what I'm doing is I have a piece of the pattern paper and I'm cutting that down to be a little bit smaller than an A2 size card, so it's about 4 inches by 5 1/4. I did cut down those 2 little strips. We're going to put those on the inside of the card. I'm measuring the circle die that I plan to use so that I can cut down some of that white iridescent glitter cardstock. That's going to go behind my circle. And then I'll take that circle die and I will run this through my die cutting machine and cut a circle sort of through the middle. I say sort of because it is off to the right hand side a little bit, and there's a reason for that. But there you have it, and now we're going to start actually assembling. So I have my card base there. That card base, again, is an A2, so closed, it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. I'm going to glue down my glitter cardstock right to the base, just making sure everything lines up okay. And then I have a piece of packaging. I love this because you can reuse any of your packaging for these kinds of shaker cards, and then you just feel a little bit better, like you're not really wasting a whole lot. So I've trimmed that down, and now I'm going to grab out some 1/4 inch tape, and I'm going to go all around my glitter cardstock. Yep, just going to go all the way around it. Don't want to go all the way to the edge though, because my pattern paper piece will not go all the way to the edge either. And I'm going to take off the release paper for the 2 sides and the very bottom. I'm going to leave the top on there for now, because if we take that off, then we'll just seal it with no sequins in there. So now we have a little pocket. All right, and it is a little bit tight, but that's okay as long as you use some flat back sequins or anything flat, like glitter would work great in here too. So I'm just going to open that up and I'm going to pour these sequins in there. I'm being pretty liberal with it. I want that to be fairly full, but I do want them to still be able to move around quite a bit. So I'll get all those put in there, and then the next thing we have to do is peel off the release paper for the top piece of that 1/4 inch tape. So I'm going to use my reverse tweezers for that. Peel that off, seal it closed, and there you have a flat shaker. It goes through the mail so much easier than a regular shaker does. So great. All right, so now I can glue down my pattern paper piece. So I'm going to grab that same tape that I already used, put that all over the back, peel off that release paper, and then I can very carefully stick this down over the top, leaving a little bit of a white border all the way around my pattern paper. Next, I'm going to grab out the black glitter cardstock that came in the kit. I'm going to cut this down to be about 3/4 of an, maybe it's an inch. I don't remember. Looks like it's about an inch. And then I'm going to trim that down a little bit more. I've picked out the image that I want to use. And I'm going to cut a little flag banner into the one side. And then I'm going to stamp out my sentiment, which says happy anniversary, and then I'll grab the matching die to go with it. I love that there are matching dies to go with all the sentiments this month. Love it. And you notice that the pattern paper is all black, gold, and white and silver. Well, I decided to bring in that little pop of pink, as you can tell, just for some color. Obviously, you don't have to do that, or you could go crazy with color if you really wanted to, because the gold, black, and silver and white go with everything. So I've done that on the inside, and now I'm going to start actually putting everything down to the front. And I'm just using my liquid glue for this. This will make it a very mailer-friendly card. You could use foam tape in any of these areas if you really wanted to, just to add some dimension. But I'm going to keep this one to be an easy mailer. So gluing everything down, and it's staying down just fine, even over that glitter cardstock. Maybe it's the kind of glue I'm using, I'm not sure, but everything. Sometimes I put down a stamp block just to make sure things are staying put. And then I grabbed from my stash some Shimmering Rose Nuvo drops, and I'm just putting those in little dots. I'm going to smack that down on the top of my glass mat, just using the back, just to kind of flatten those down so they'll look a little bit more like enamel dots. And that's going to finish off our first card, flat back shaker. Love it. Or not flat back, but just mostly a flat shaker. All right, for card number 2, we're bringing in the embossing folder, and I'm going to do this right on my card base. So I have my card base cut down. It's 5 1/2 inches by 8 1/2 inches. I'm going to go ahead and score it at 4 1/4, but I'm not going to fold it yet. And then I'm going to take where the score line is and line that right up along the edge, because I want that full front to be embossed. So I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. Just follow the instructions on your die cutting machine, and then I have that beautiful embossed background. And then I've die cut out a circle out of some of the black glitter cardstock. I'm going to trim down some of the other patterns. Think of the fun you could have with like trimming up paper and putting that all over the back of just making a background with it. And that's kind of what I did here, except only with 2 pieces. But imagine you could go crazy and just do a bunch. All right, kind of just figuring that out. And then I'm going to stamp Make a Wish on the inside. And then I do the same thing for all of my sentiments for the rest of the cards. Stamped them, die cut them, and they're all good to go. I'm going to glue down my black circle, my black glitter cardstock circle. Then I'm going to cut that at an angle and glue down this piece of patterned paper. Again, you could use foam tape anywhere along here, but again, I just decided to keep everything to be an easy mailer. Then I'll glue down this little piece. I'm not going to trim that one or angle that one, just for a little bit of interest, I guess. And then I'm going to glue down our sentiment. And then I'll glue down. Actually, on this one, I do use foam tape. So I'm going to grab foam tape and I'm going to put that just on the back of our present. So there will be some dimension, but that's okay because I am going to bring in those enamel dots, those clear enamel dots. I think they're called silver, but they look like mirrors. I love them. I want to put them on all the things. They're so pretty. So I'm going to take a few of those and sprinkle those on the background just using my reverse tweezers to go underneath them and grab them. A few up there, a couple down here at the bottom. And then when I'm done with that, that'll finish off card number 2. Super easy one, but I love how that looks. Might have to make more of those for sure. All right, moving on to card number 3. I have a piece of pattern paper cut down to 4 inches by 5.5 inches. And then I'm just going to cut down a couple pieces of glitter cardstock, just a little bit smaller. Those are going to be on the edge. I just couldn't bring myself to cut a full panel and then have so much of that hiding. So I just cut small strips and then you'll see what I do here. But I got my card base ready. And then I'm going to take some 1/4 inch tape like I did earlier. I'm just going to put it on the long sides. So I'll put it on those long sides. I'll peel off one of the release papers on one of those. And I'm going to use my glass mat to line up that gold strip of paper. And I'll line it up and then put the pattern paper right on top of it. So we have this nice gold edging. And then we'll do it on the other side as well. So that way I'm not using up all that gold, beautiful gold cardstock that's hidden behind my pattern paper. And then I can go ahead and glue this down to our card base. Now I want to do a little bit of heat embossing. So I'm going to take the fireworks stamps from this set, line those up, and I am going to use a magic or a powder tool on the back, an anti-static powder tool on my cardstock, ink up my images with a juicy embossing ink, which is basically just a clear sticky ink, stamp that down on my paper, and then I have some gold glittery embossing powder, and that's just in like a sampler tub, so I can't have that one linked for you, but I'll find something similar and link it down below. And then again, matching dies to go with these. I love that. So I'm going to grab out those matching dies and I'll tack that down with a little bit of mint tape. And then we'll run this through our die cutting machine. And I love it. You could do these in so many colors. Imagine the colors. I stuck with gold, but imagine the colors you could do. How fun. This would make a great graduation card. Or, well, congratulations for anything, really. So I'm going to glue all those down along with our sentiment. And then I have all the sequins, well, most of the sequins, I went ahead and poured into a little container. But before I do that, I'm going to glue down some balloons on the inside. Some gold balloons. How fun. And then I'm going to just pull out random sequins. There's stars, there's embossed ones, there's flat backs, I love it. This is an amazing sequin mix because there's so many different kinds. And I just grabbed the gold ones and I'm just going to tack those down all over my background. And when that's done, that's going to finish off card number 3. We are cruising through these. Love it. For card number 4, it's actually 2 cards. We're going to make some mini slimlines. So I've cut down some cardstock to be 6 inches by 6 inches. Going to score that at 3 inches. So that is a mini slimline. There's our card base. And I'll link down below. I like to use a nice thick cardstock, but it's also 12 by 12, so I can get 4 mini slimlines out of one card or one piece of paper. And I don't feel like I'm wasting anything. And then for these, I'm going to trim this one down to 2 inches. So I need 2 of them. So we've got 2 inches, 2 inches, and then I have an extra little 2-inch one that I can use on something else. This piece I'm going to cut down to 1.5 inches. And the reason I'm doing that is because I do want these to overlap just a little bit. So we've got 2 of those as well. And then I'm going to bring in the black glitter cardstock. This stuff is fabulous. I didn't have any of this in my stash. And I've been stamping for like decades. So I'm trimming some of this down to be about 1/2 inch. And then I'll trim those down to be 6 inches. So they'll be 6 inches by 1/2 inch. And those will make a nice little band, a little belly band almost. And we'll glue down our top piece. That's that 1.5 inch piece. I'm going to do that at the very top of our card base. And then this piece is the 2-inch piece. I'm going to glue that over the bottom so it will overlap a little bit. You wouldn't have to do it that way if you didn't want to. And then I'm going to take the little glitter cardstock and glue that right over that where those two meet. And then I've picked out some different images and I've got some sentiments. So I'm going to glue down my balloons on this one. This one would make a fun like happy 50th, happy 40th, happy 60th, maybe even happy 30th, who knows. And then I will glue down my happy birthday and I'll do some candles on the other one. But then I'm going to grab in those enamel dots and we're going to put those on the background because I love these. And I used a lot of them for the few cards that I made and I still have tons left over. So the amount of cards that you can get out of one of these kits is just insane. Like one kit is going to give you, you just make card bases and stamp out images and you are going to have cards for days, folks. So there is card number 4, technically card 4 and 5, but there they are. And I love those little mini slimlines. All right, now we're going to move on to our last card. I have some cardstock already cut down. This one's 4 inches by 5¼ inches. And I'm going to grab out my Tonic Magnetic Crafters platform. I'm going to tack down my piece with some mint tape and then use these super strong magnets that come with my platform and tack down my stencil that came in the kit. I've got some golden crystal glimmer paste along with a palette knife and I am going to just spread this all over. I've had this glimmer paste for quite a while, but I've been using that press and seal and it seems to be keeping it pretty nicely. So, but if it does kind of start to dry out a little bit, you want to catch it before it totally dries out. But if you catch it before that, you can probably put some distilled water in there and bring it back to life. All right, closing that up, we're going to take this stuff to the sink and clean everything off before it dries on there because it will ruin your stencil. And then we can start adhering pieces down to our card base. So I'm sorry I'm off screen, but I just have a little piece of pattern paper I'm putting on the inside. And then I'm going to tack down that piece of pattern paper that measures 4¼ by 5½ inches. So it will cover the full front of that A2 size card. So many fun patterns in this pattern paper, and I have so much of it left over. Like I said, I could have made cards for days. And then I'm going to glue down this one because it dried pretty quickly. That is the one thing about the glimmer paste is it does dry very quickly. And it's just kind of subtle on that background. Now I'm going to cut down a square. So this one's going to be 2½ inches by 2½ inches. I just thought that would be kind of fun to almost make it look like a diamond for our presents. Kind of taking a look at how that's going to look on there. So I'll glue this down and it glues just fine to our piece of glitter cardstock. As long as you leave it there for a few seconds, it should be fine. And then I'm going to glue this down to the front of our card. And you do need to let that sit for a minute with that liquid glue. You could use foam tape. That would hold it a little bit better. But you just got to let it sit. That's for sure. See, mine's definitely not dry yet. And I'm gluing down the Make-A-Wish. And then I'm going to put the candles on the inside of this one. But that's going to finish off card number 5. And I'm so happy with how that one turned out as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at all the cards that I made for you today. I would love to know which one was your favorite. If you did have a favorite, go ahead and leave that down in the comment section down below. But that's probably my favorite part. I say that all the time. I love hearing what you guys like best because everybody's tastes are so different. So if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.